Unpack with me after a 7-night trip for 5 people to Disneyland Paris. I am Ree from mummyof4.com. I've got a lot of washing to get done, a lot of stuff to unpack and put away, so let's get it done together. So I've got 5 check-in cases to unpack plus 1 carry-on case. And yes, one of our suitcases got a little bit battered and my husband had to kind of pummel it backwards to fix that. It is the day that we've got home. We've been traveling all day. I am exhausted and feeling a little under the weather, if I'm honest, but I know if I don't get this done, it's just gonna linger. So I've taken the toothbrushes out. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with those in a second. And that's my makeup sponge, all the toiletries and things. I need to go through all those. The main thing I want to get to is the washing, because normally if you have been around on my channel before, you've seen my speed cleans and things, or my daily vlogs, weekly vlogs, whatever. I like to put on at least a load of laundry every day just to keep on top of it. So you can imagine the 5 of us have been away for an entire week. No laundry at all has happened. There's a massive backlog. So if I don't get on top of it now, it's just going to get worse and worse the longer I leave it. So as much as I just want to sit down and do absolutely nothing right now, I can at very least get some washing on, just 1 load, maybe 2 loads. At least the washing machine is working while I am not. So some of the clothes that I packed, we ended up not using. So that's 1 case, by the way, done. 1 case done. All that came from 1 case. We've still got 4 cases to go. Oh no, this is going to take some time. Anyway, what was I saying? 1 or 2 of the clothing items we ended up not using, because I like to take spares and things in case of downpours. There was 1 day we were going to go into Paris. We ended up not doing that. I ended up realizing that the reason we wanted to take the children into central Paris, so that other people, when they asked them, have you been to see the Eiffel Tower, they could say yes, they had. And when we asked the children, they really weren't actually that fussed on going, and it was going to either take us like traveling an hour there, traveling an hour back, at either quite a lot of expense to take a transfer. I think we were quoted 160 euros, or going early to the airport, and we were already leaving pretty early. And the children really weren't that fussed, so we ended up realizing that we were doing it so that they could answer the question to other people, and therefore we were doing it for other people. So it seemed a bit daft, and we figured we'll just take them when they are a little bit older and going to appreciate it a bit more. And we just ended up spending the extra time in Disney, which they enjoyed. Anyway, that was a total tangent that no one asked for. That's 2 cases done now. Way! Little mini celebration. Anyway, on to the 3rd case, my hair straighteners. See, certain things I need almost straight away. And this is the reason, those dolls. That's the real reason I was unpacking, because the girls were like, Mummy, can we have our dolls? Mummy, can we have our dolls? Mummy, can we have our dolls? And if you watch, there are the dolls popping up again. If you watch the whole video, which will be over on my Mummy of 4 Does Disney channel, then you will see the dolls in their full glory, plus everything else that I bought, the children bought. So I'm just still trying to sort dirty washing into the baskets, as you can see down the right hand side of the screen, and I'm just trying to sort those by colour so they're ready to go in by load. Those plastic champagne flutes I keep pulling out, those were like celebration things in Disneyland Paris. I think I forgot to include those in the haul video actually, but basically they were 15 euros on Main Street for a glass of champagne, and then we got to keep the glass, and they're quite pretty and the children like them, so now the children will use those for orange juice and things. They're really pleased with them. Anyway, still mounding up loads and loads of laundry. All this stuff is ready to go, but at least now, by sorting it into light loads, dark loads, and I kind of always do like middle-ish coloured loads as well, I know that I can just keep feeding that through the machine. And that's another case empty. And while I am making a massive mess, and all I really want to do is sleep right now, I will be glad, future me will be glad I did this. So I'm just emptying out the very last case now. This is more than I thought I was going to do. I thought I was just going to do the one case, but A, the dolls weren't in the first case, so I had to keep going. And then B, sometimes starting's the hardest bit, and when you're on a roll, it's easier to keep going. So I'm sorting things that need to go upstairs into these bags. These reusable Disneyland Paris bags are brilliant, actually. I use them for carrying things all around the house and all sorts. Is that the last case totally empty? Okay, the house is now a tip, but the cases are empty. Woo! Hooray! Oh, well, okay, so there's still a lot to be done. There's an awful lot to be done, because look what I did. I just made a massive mess. Oh, no. Why did I mean, it had to be done, didn't it? It had to be done. And it'll feel so good when it's actually underway, finished, put away. Okay, let's get some of this laundry on, because then we can carry this lot upstairs. Some of the stuff in the packing cubes just needs to be put away. Some of it needs to be sorted. All that needs to go upstairs. Oh, no. Anyway, okay, let's keep going. Let's just get the washing machine on. First job, get the washing machine on, and then even if I do nothing else, the washing is still going, it's still working while I am not. I've got this bold liquid for a change, partly because I've run out of the capsules, but also I like to have the liquid sometimes to spray directly onto stains, so it's a good thing to have. Okay, toothbrushes. I have toothbrushes that live in our cases, but I like to put them in the dishwasher in between trips, because otherwise I think that they're just kind of festering with bacteria and things, and that's probably pretty gross. And germs that sit there for months on months, or weeks, months, however long between trips. I figured that, you know, put them in through the dishwasher. It's like sanitize them, isn't it? Someone else suggested I could use like a denture tablet. That would do the same trick. So it's now later in the day. I've had a shower, which is why I look different. By this point, I'll be honest, I'm feeling quite rough. I have had some like niggly kind of symptoms, like losing my voice and things coming on while we've been away. And now I am feeling less than amazing, if I'm honest. But never mind, the washing still has to happen, because otherwise it's just going to build up and build up and build up and feel more overwhelming. So I'm just going to get the washing on, even if I don't do a great deal more than that. And we're going to get the drying in. So this is the stuff that does go in the tumble dryer, and then we will deal with the stuff that needs to be hung up in the airing cupboard because it's not tumble dryable. Now the problem is, before we went away, I didn't empty out the airing cupboard. So my first job is to empty out the airing cupboard. This is just literally 2 poles in between a wall and a Calyx unit, but there is a radiator. You can't actually see it, it's out of the shot, but it's like in the bottom left of the shot, there is a radiator. And as long as this is not overstuffed and things are hung up neatly, like in shape, then things dry quite well. I also use it for drying coats if we've come back from the school run, which is why there's some coats in there and we've been absolutely soaked through, rather than putting things directly in the cupboard. So now I've emptied everything, because obviously everything was bone dry, it dried off while we're away. I'm hanging up the stuff that doesn't go in the tumble dryer, and I've got plenty of hangers that kind of live in here to hang up all the stuff we need to hang up. And then I like to separate the things out with a few hangers to make sure they're not touching each other. Let's empty out some more of these bags. This is all the stuff I dumped in my bedroom. And I use these little Loungefly backpacks as packing cubes. So I've stuffed a load of things in there, and I'm kind of throwing them to the children, and which are just like off screen, and going, hey, can you put this away? Can you put this away? For all their dressing up clothes and things. Now, some of the stuff that they wore, like their dressing up clothes, didn't even touch their skin, so not all of it has to actually be washed, because they were wearing thermals, they were wearing like leggings and things underneath, and they were wearing their dressing up clothes almost as like a top layer. So some of that stuff can literally be chucked and put directly back into their wardrobes. Most of the dressing up clothes are like hand wash only, so could either be physically hand washed, or most washing machines will have a hand wash setting that you can use on the washing machine. I do get asked a lot about how to wash dressing up clothes. gentle hand wash settings in the washing machine, and sometimes putting them inside like zippy mesh bags and things to protect them while they're on these hand wash settings can be a good way to wash things that are technically not machine washable. So those are the children's autograph books. They need photographs and things printed off to go in them. That's gonna have to be a job for another day, because at this stage I'm feeling feverish and really quite disgusting. So I'm pushing through, gonna do a little bit more, because this pile of stuff in the corner of my room is gonna drive me nuts otherwise. But I've managed to get it down to not loads and loads of stuff, just a little bit that needs doing, and the stuff that needs putting away and taking to other rooms. And it's now the following morning and we're moving the washing machine on. We're taking the wet stuff out, we're moving the drying around and getting it all just moving. That's the thing with washing, isn't it? It's like, it's never finished, but you can just keep it moving. That's all you can do. And even on the days where I'm having a day where I feel pretty rough or under the weather, I feel like if I can just get the washing machine on, at least I've done something, and at least it's not building up that overwhelm that I have to deal with. Because I find, let me know if you feel the same, let me know if you feel like this, and let me know in the comments. But if you've got ridiculous amounts of washing that you can't physically get done in a day because there's too much of it, that's really overwhelming. If you just keep it moving, even if it's dry and it's not sorted, then that's something. Now at this stage, I get really ill. It's not COVID, but I end up with a really nasty fever. I end up on antibiotics for a chest infection, and then the doctor thinks it's like a really nasty dose of the flu. I am working a little bit, but just from the sofa. And then we fast forward a whole week, and this stuff is the stuff that's been collected from all over the house and has been sitting there in the corner of my room for this week while I've had flu. I'm still feeling really, really rough, but at least now the fever's gone, so I can kind of keep going. I'm hoping to get rid of this stuff, because while I have been feeling really rough and ill, looking at the stuff in the corner of my room has been driving me insane. Just got to the stage where I need to get this stuff out of my way so I don't have to look at it anymore, and I can feel unpacked and less surrounded by clutter. So those are all the park passes and things for Disney. I'm going to put those inside that bag my husband carries, and that is going inside the Minnie Mouse suitcase. I'm going to repeat that. That's the Minnie Mouse suitcase. That's where the park passes are for next time I'm trying to pack and I can't find them. All of the toothbrushes that I put in the dishwasher a week ago now, have now dried off and have gone back into this packet, and they can be packed ready for our next trip. I need to go through these toiletries. I'm just going to tip them into that basket and go through them one at a time and wipe them. One or two of them seem a bit leaky, sticky, so I'm just going to make sure. If I could be bothered, if I was feeling less pants, I would actually refill all the toiletries now. That would be a really sensible step, but to be honest, I'm still feeling pretty rubbish, so I'm just going to do the bare minimum, which is wipe them and put them away, so I know that I'm not putting them away leaking, which is at least something, isn't it? It's better than nothing. I've gathered together packing cubes, and I'm now emptying out the last of the packing cubes with spare clothes that didn't actually get worn. So I had a whole load of spare trousers in case it rained. That's Sarah's Rapunzel dress that needs to go away. Pajamas, I took far too many spare pairs of pajamas and things I didn't really need. Spare pants, spare socks in case we got absolutely soaked through. We were really lucky with the weather actually. We had, I think, one day where it rained, but I know in our October trip we got so soaked through, and the children got like soaked through their shoes and everything. It took such a long time to dry them out. I took quite a lot of spares this time. I figured since we were traveling in February, then the weather could be pretty cold, pretty horrific, and it just wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I still think it's better to take far too many spare things than to be stuck out on a trip and not have the things you need. So I'm going to put the rest of these bits and pieces in this suitcase. I'm going to jam a couple of Loungefly bags in there out of the way, and then that case can go back in my wardrobe. So that's one less case I have to look at, and it would just be nice to have my bedroom back without a giant pile of stuff I've got to climb over every time I want to move around in it. The other empty cases have gone in the big wardrobe in the playroom downstairs. That's one case inside that case, and that can go inside the wardrobe. Might have taken a week, but that's me pretty much unpacked. Thank you so much for unpacking with me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. There are more videos on screen now. Click over there and I'll see you in one of those. Bye.